Hey everybody, Backpack Hack here, coming at you with another trail tip for you preppers out there. And today is March 1st. And you know what March 1st is? The first day of International Maintain Your Bag Month. Now, I know what you're thinking. International Maintain Your Bag Month? What the heck is he talking? Never heard of it. Well, there's a perfectly good reason you've never heard of it. There is no such thing. It doesn't exist. I just made it up. But March is when I put on my calendar to go through my bug out bag and my 2 get home bags to perform maintenance on it, because it's very, very easy in prepping to get something done and then say, okay, that's done. You put your bag away and you just kind of forget about it. The next thing you know, it's starting to age out. So you want to, on a regular basis, at least once a year, go through your bag, and here are 15 things that I go through to make sure that my bags are up to the task should I need to deploy them. Number 1, water. I can't emphasize this enough. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't care what you're prepping for, you have to have water. So any containers that I have in my bags, I will empty out. I will rinse them out with bleach water. I will clean them out with some dishwashing soap, rinse them out, let them air dry, and refresh them with clean, clear water. So I'm not starting out with bad water from the get-go and then have to treat that water. I've got good potable water no matter what. So make sure that I have good, clean water. Number 2, food. My policy is any food I have in these bags get taken out, consumed, and replaced with store-bought fresh stuff. I know there's some food out there that can stay in these bags for decades, but I'm not one of those that uses those. If you want to use them, that's fine. But anything with a short-term shelf life that may only last 2 or 3 years, you still want to go ahead and replace. That way you know the food in your bag is ready to go. It's going to be good, it's going to be wholesome, it's going to be healthy, and it's going to give you the energy to get you through that emergency. So number 2 is replace that food. Number 3, make sure anything with a battery is fully charged. Either charge them up if they're rechargeable, or if they're not rechargeable, like they've got alkalins in it, make sure that the batteries are either good, or you just go ahead and replace them and put fresh new batteries in. The last thing you want to do is go into an emergency situation with dead or half-dead batteries. You want everything as charged up as possible. So part of that maintenance is making sure that all your batteries are charged up or fresh. Speaking of batteries, if you have anything with an operating system on it, like a spare cell phone or a tablet or a laptop, these things have operating systems on them. And if they've been stored away, turned off for quite a while, you might have to update the operating system and even the apps that you have on them. So turn them on, get them charged up, connect to the internet, and make sure there's not updates available for your operating system and your apps. Number 5, update your grab-and-go binder. It's very, very easy to have this stored away and you've got new information that needs to go in here. You've updated your driver's license, you've got a new passport, whatever information you have in here. Maybe you've bought another piece of property, maybe you've sold a piece of property, or a vehicle. You bought another vehicle or you've sold a vehicle. You don't need that information in here if you've sold it, but you need it in here if you've bought something, like a title to your vehicle. So make sure that your grab-and-go binder is up to date. Number 6, make sure everything functions the way you want it to. Make sure that anything with a battery actually works.
3%. The wind was at 9 miles an hour.
Make sure everything functions the way you expect it to, that you want it to, that it was designed to. If not, maybe it's time to replace that piece of gear, or if nothing else, like I said, make sure the battery's charged up. Number 7 is your first aid kit. Now you may think, well, I bought a first aid kit, it's got everything in it and I haven't used it. Well, here's the thing. What in here is going to deteriorate? How many times have you pulled a bandage out of your medicine cabinet and it won't stick to you because it's so old? You want to go through and make sure that's not going to happen with your bandages that are in your first aid kit. Make sure you go through and replace all those items to make sure that they're going to perform the way you want them to. So go through your first aid kit and check those bandages and anything else that might be in it. Number 8 is any creams or salves or lotions, anything like that, hand lotion, bug spray, antibiotic creams, anything like that that might deteriorate over time, especially something that's sitting in a vehicle that freezes and bakes in the summer and freezes in the winter. You want to make sure that these are all viable and still very, very usable. If nothing else, give one a try. If it's bad, probably the rest of them are bad. Either replace them Or if you still think they might be good, put them in your camping gear, go camping with them, and replace them with fresh new stuff. Number 9, any medications that you have, you want to make sure you rotate those out, whether they're prescription or over the counter. You want to take out the old stuff and put in fresh new, because you don't want to start out in an emergency with medication that has aged out, that is either ineffective or ineffective, or worse yet, harmful. So you want to take those old medications out. If they need to be disposed of, get rid of them. If they're still viable, go ahead and consume those now and replace them with factory fresh. Number 10, any map that you have. Now, topographical maps don't change all that much, so if you've got a topographical map, you probably don't have to update it. But a street map, like what I generally carry in my bug out bag and my get home bags, that can change almost on an annual basis. So I want to make sure that I have a current printed map, whether it's topographical or street map. Make sure that your map is up to date. Number 11 is adding items. I'm constantly coming up with ideas for things to add to my bag, and I'm sure you are too, but I have to temper that with the idea that I'm going to have to carry this thing, and so are you. So anything that you have or considering adding to your bag, you may want to think hard about it, because the weight and the bulk that you're putting in the bag, you're going to have to carry it. So take careful consideration of what you're considering putting into that bag. Maybe it's a lightweight item, maybe it's a heavy item, but do some serious soul searching about it before you add anything. But maybe there's something that you hadn't thought about that you think, yeah, I need to put that in that bag. So now is the time to put it in. Number 12, delete unneeded items. Let's say that I've just now finished my get home bag and I've got like a folding saw in there. And I sit there and think, well, why do I have a folding saw in there? I mean, even though I'm in a rural environment right now, my bug out bag and my get home bags are designed for urban environments, because I work and live in the city. So why would I need like a folding saw? If I have a folding saw in my get home bag, am I going to camp in somebody's front yard and cut down the tree in their front yard to make a fire in their front yard? No, I don't need a folding saw in my get home bag. So take that thing out. Take a serious look and see if there's anything that you really don't need in that bag that you could take out to save the weight and the bulk. Number 13 is upgrading any items that you may have. Take a serious look at what you've got in your bag. For instance, let's say you're using an AM radio that you bought 20 years ago, thinking, well, that'll be fine for my bug out bag. But now you're thinking, well, maybe I want to upgrade that to something that has a recharger in it and has a rechargeable battery and can get weather radio. Maybe I want to upgrade that. Maybe I've got a battery charger that is very, very small and maybe charge my phone once, where I can get a better battery pack that might charge my phone 3 or 4 times. Upgrade those items. It doesn't have to necessarily be a bigger item or a heavier item, and in fact an upgrade can actually downsize your gear. You may get something smaller and lighter and more compact, but still have the features or even more features than what was available 20, 30 years ago that you've thrown in your bag. So upgrade those items. Number 14 is seasonal items. Now, I don't do seasonal items in my bag. I keep those things separate from my bags themselves that I have available to them. So I don't keep winter clothing, I don't keep summer clothing in these bags. Some people do. So if you are doing this, putting seasonal clothing and things like that into your bag, maybe you want to maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 times a year go through your bag instead of on an annual basis. But if you do have seasonal items in your bag, make sure that those are the things that get rotated in and out. If here it is, March, spring is coming up, maybe you don't need the winter clothing in your bag anymore. You replace it with light summer clothing. If you do this in the fall, like in November, say, maybe it's time to get rid of that spring outfit and put in winter clothing. So do that seasonal rotation as part of your bag maintenance. And finally, number 15, look at everything and see if there's anything you can downgrade. Maybe you've got something that is a great big huge thing that does more than you need it to do, and there is something available that's smaller and lighter that still does what you want it to do, but is smaller and lighter. You put this big heavy item in because you had it, and now you can go ahead and buy that smaller, lighter, and less expensive piece of gear and replace it with and save the weight. So now's the time to go through and maybe downgrade some of these items. Go from a large to a small, from a heavy to a light item, as long as it still does what you want it to do. So anyway, those are at least 15 items that I go through my bug out bag and my 2 get home bags to look at to make sure that they are up to the task should I need to deploy them They're ready to go. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have any problems. As soon as I put it on my back and head down the road, I know that I've got the best pack that I have possible, and you should too. So this is Backpack Hack coming at you with this trail tip. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share on my videos. Be safe out there, and I'll see you out on the trail.